Hello aspirants, welcome to another session of the daily newspaper analysis. This video is brought to you by Gurudev Academy. My name is Ashwin. Firstly, we will look at the questions that were given in yesterday's video. Some of you have been responding to the questions. It is really good. It shows us that you appreciate our effort. Do keep commenting. We will discuss more further. So when we look at the first question, Kunho Palar National Park is located in which state? It is Madhya Pradesh. We studied this Kunho Palar, very important. Cheetah relocation, cheetah reintroduction. Sorry, fine. Secondly, who releases the CPI data? CPI data in India is released by NSSO. We have looked at this. If you have not seen the yesterday's video, you can just look at it. We'll share the link. Then the third one, how many goals are there in the sustainable development goals? Okay, there are 17 goals as discussed yesterday. Lastly, which of the following country shares its border with Turkmenistan? Again, West Asia, we have been doing a lot of mapping questions from West Asia and the adjoining Central Asian regions as well. So, which of the following country shares its border? The answer is Uzbekistan here. Central Asia and West Asia are very important countries right now. So, please look at the mapping of these regions. So these are the issue topics that we are going to look at. Firstly, we have a new president. The 15th president of India was declared yesterday. So we will just look at few facts here that are important when it comes to your prelims. So firstly, when does the term start? Okay, the term here starts upon entering the office. Okay, upon entering the office means upon taking the oath, which is administered by the CJI, Chief Justice of India, and here the new president is going to take the oath on 25th July 2022, and the end of the office, okay, the term of end of the office will be 25th July 2027. Fine. So the term of the office will start when the oath is taken. It will end exactly on the 5 years. Then the new president won the election by 64.03 of vote share. Okay, 64% of 03 of the vote share. That is the electoral college that has members of both the MP and state legislature who are elected. Okay, who are elected. Though they all are under your electoral college. Here, few of the historical facts when we look at, there has been only one president who has won with less than 50% of vote share, that is VV Giri. Okay, and Rajendra Prasad is the president who won with the highest vote share, that is 99% of the vote share. One more important thing when we look at the electoral college here is that the total value of votes, okay, the total value of the votes, the share of the MLAs is higher. Okay, the share of the MLAs is higher than the share of MPs here. Fine. So these are the few facts that you should be knowing. The president comes from Santal tribal community. So the significance of tribal empowerment becomes very important. Over the years, we have seen few legislations that have been brought out by the government, not only in the center but also by the state governments here, where tribal population is dominated. So to have a proper tribal empowerment. Fine. So when we look at the history of the legislature, Jaipal Munda was the member of Constituent Assembly. He comes from the tribal community. Fine. So he was a member of the Constituent Assembly. When we look at the tribal empowerment, some of the schemes that have been done. See, these when there has been increase in the participation of these tribal communities in legislature. Fine. There has been a 5th and 6th schedule which directly deals with the tribal communities and their empowerment. Then we have recognition of Forest Rights Act and Forest Dwellers Act. Okay, so these all have contributed a lot for tribal empowerment and the upliftment of tribal community. See, the new president, the identity should not limit the new president. The president does not come from any community. The president is the president of whole India. So the identity should never only be concentrated on from the background of the present president, but also overall looked at how a president should be. I have discussed in one of the video how a president should be, what are the qualities that a president should inculcate. Do check out that video. Nextly, we will look at this explain section. In explain section as well as in the editorial, there has been a detailed explanation about your Pegasus issue, as well as there has been few things that have been said by the editor as well as the explain section. We'll firstly look at the explain section here. Firstly, we look at what Pegasus is. See, Pegasus is a spyware. It is a zero-click attack. Zero click attack, here we mean that previously how the spyware used to be planted. Okay, if some malware or spyware had to be planted, you had to click on the link. Okay, and through the link some file used to be downloaded in your mobile or in your computer, and that computer used to spy on the system here. But here what is happening is, under Pegasus, the Pegasus can be planted without any clicks here. It can be planted it can be planted automatically, even through a phone call. Okay, this Pegasus spyware can be planted in any system and it gathers the data. Okay, also it is a 0-day spyware. By 0-day spyware here we mean that see, 0-day spyware means the manufacturer of these systems, that is your mobile phones or computer systems, they are not aware that such spyware is in the system. Fine. So that is your Pegasus. See, this Pegasus is being developed by a Israeli based company called NSO. Okay, it has been developed by the NSO. It was observed that when India and Israel had this $2 billion of defense deal, okay, it is being alleged that India has bought this spyware and it has been used on few of your legislature, few of journalists, okay, to spy what the data they have been gathering. See, this came out in 2019 as well as 2020, when several of these newspapers came out with reports that said that India has been using the spyware to spy on its legislatures as well as your journalist. Okay, this report came out was published by Forbidden Stories as well as Amnesty International. Accordingly, they consider this Forbidden Stories and Amnesty consider Pegasus as a cyber weapon. Okay, it is considered as a cyber weapon, and Israel has this law where it says that Pegasus has to be sold only to the authorized government. Okay, so if India has bought this, it is considered as a cyber weapon which is used by the government here to do surveillance. When the center was asked about this, center has neither accepted nor denied that it has bought such type of spyware. Then what happened is this the Supreme Court asked the center here to file an affidavit on the allegations that it has bought this Pegasus spyware, but the center refused to file an affidavit or comment anything on this because it said that national security will be compromised. Then Supreme Court acted on its own, and now it has formed a committee under R. Ravindran, which is investigating whether this was used to spy on phones, whether this spy on phones as well as other devices on Indian citizens, whether government has taken any action after the report emerged in 2019. See, WhatsApp had released a report in 2019 which said that India has been using this spyware to spy on some of the journalists. So when such report was published, the government denied it but has not given a proper statement. So the committee is examining that as well. It is also examining where such kind of spyware was really bought by the government and whether it is being used to do surveillance in India. Fine. So, what are the rules that govern surveillance in India? See, surveillance in India can be done under few of the provisions of few acts. We will look at each of these acts. Firstly, Section 5 of 5 Clause 2 of Indian Telegraph Act of 1885. Okay, it is a colonial law. Okay, it is a colonial law which said that messages or class of messages can be intercepted in case of it is harming the sovereignty of the nation, in case of it is harming the friendly relation with any country, or it is inciting violence. Okay, so under such condition, this messages or class of messages can be intercepted. But under public PUCL, okay, Public Union on Civil Liberties versus Union of India case that took place, it says that right of privacy is a fundamental right. Okay, it is a fundamental right under Article 21, and if surveillance has to be done through a established procedure. There has to be a proper established procedure. Hence, here rules 40, okay, 419, that is rule 419A of telegraph rules 1951, which was amended, okay, later on when this case happened, it was amended, where it said that Home Secretary at state and the center, they had the power to grant surveillance. Okay, if any state or center wants to phone tap, okay, or it wants to collect data, okay, then it can do it only when the permission is given by who? Home Secretary. Okay, both at the state as well as the central level. Later on, under case Puttaswamy versus Union of India 2017, this is a very important case. Okay, it again here the primacy of this case is right to privacy. Okay, the right to privacy was reinstated as the fundamental right. Here they say that legally valid and should serve legitimate aim. That the surveillance that you do, it has to be legally valid and it should serve a legitimate aim. It should not be done with someone with a with a political backlash. Fine. So these are the things that was mentioned in these two cases. Then there is another law which governs which governs surveillance in India. When we look at it, the law is section 69 of IT Act, that is Information Act 2000. It says that interception, monitoring, decryption of any act from the computer, it is valid until and unless it is destroying or disturbing the sovereignty of a nation, friendly relation with any nation, and also inciting violence. Fine. But it says that IT Act of 2009, this is the act which provides the procedure here for any surveillance that has to be taken place. Okay, so there are two acts that you have to remember. Firstly, section 69A of Information Act, that is 2000, and also section 5 clause 2 Indian Telegraphic Act 1885. They both govern the surveillance laws in our country. Okay, so when we look ahead, see, at the end of this explained section, there is one important thing given, that is section 66 and section 49. Fine. See, what is the overall thing that is explained? We have seen what Pegasus is. Okay, we are seeing what has happened due to the use of Pegasus. Fine, and also we are seeing what are the laws that are governing surveillance in India. We saw two laws that are serving the governance of surveillance in India. So what at the last it is mentioned is the Pegasus has already been planted in some systems and it is gathering data, which is a violation of this act, section 66 and section 49 of IT Act of 2000. They both are violating. How? They are violating because they are gaining unauthorized access. Unauthorized access, here we mean that once the spyware is planted in some mobile or system, what is happening is the spyware is collecting all the data and is transmitting to the servers which has planted this spyware here. So unauthorized access is being given to the data to the system here. Also, it is introducing virus in the computer. Okay, it is introducing the spyware in the computer. See, when these two provisions are proved in the court, the center will be liable for actions here because the center is violating by buying such software in India and also by planting this software in some of the journalists and some of the holders of the constitutional position. So there has been report that surveillance has been done on the Supreme Court judges as well, on the Chief Justice of India as well. So this is a very serious issue that has to be taken up. So when we look at the editorial, okay, the editorial here looks at the various wings of the government and what actions they have took when it comes to the Pegasus issue. When we look at the executive, okay, the executive should be the first line of defense when it comes to such issues. The executive has one of the important things that protects us from cyber threats, that is your CERT-IN, that is your Computer Emergency Response Team. Fine. When the initial Pegasus issue broke out, the CERT-IN was not active in responding to these claims. They have always refused to accept that such spyware is being used in India. But when WhatsApp in 2019, as I mentioned earlier, it came out with a statement that confirmed that India was really using this Pegasus spyware. CERT-In has issued notice to both the WhatsApp and NSO. NSO is the agency which has developed this Pegasus spyware. But until now, there has been no update as to what was the response of WhatsApp and NSO in the public domain. Then, legislature. See, when in our constitution, executive is responsible for the legislature. Fine, the legislature has to take actions when the executive is not performing constitutionally. It is not performing its constitutional duties. But the legislature, over the 2 years that we have seen, has been stalling the debate. Okay, whenever the opposition has been trying to make or inquire to the government as to what happened with the Pegasus issue, the government has been stalling both the government as well as the opposition is being stalling the discussion here. The legislature, okay, in the IT committee, the committee of the House, the parliamentary committee on IT, that is your information technology, asked for report from the government in 2021, but here as well, there has been no development, no updates as to what the government response is again. Then, when it comes to judiciary, as mentioned earlier, judiciary has formed the committee, senior level committee, Ravindran committee, which is inquiring. The committee, the committee asked for response from the government here. The government has been filing affidavits as to extend the date to submit its report, but until now the government has not submitted any of its reports. So it has to be seen as the case will be taken up in the last week of July as to what will the Supreme Court has to say on it. Finally, when we look at the overall issue here, see, overall issue, initially when this news the news of Pegasus came out, it was found that it was not only used on journalists, it was used on some social activists as well. It was, according to this Arsenal Consulting, it is a private digital forensic company. Okay, according to it, it was found that when the Bhima Koregaon case accused, two of the Bhima Koregaon case accused, on them this one of the spyware was used, that is NetWire. Okay, by using NetWire, some of incriminating documents were placed which were not belonging to these two accused. They were placed in these two people computers, and later on the NIA, the National Investigation Agency, it has been running the case against these two accused based on the documents which were placed by using this NetWire spyware. Fine. So what really happening is, in India there is something called as Indian cyber mercenaries. Okay, there has been growth of the surveillance industry in India. India has been growing in the name of surveillance for hire system. India has become famous for Indian cyber mercenaries, who have been planting these spywares in others' computers, not only to gain political advantage but also commercial advantages as well. Fine. So when such issues are happening, the government has to amend or change the overall information technology law as well as data protection law. See, India is coming up with a new data protection law in I think in this session or the next session, but still there as well we see the lack of protection against surveillance that has been done by the state agencies here. What has been the overall result of all of this? See, overall result of all of this has been the Freedom in the World report. Okay, the Freedom in the World report 2021, which analyzes the civil rights as well as the political liberties that are available in the country. It has degraded India from free to partly free. It considers India partly free democracy because how the Pegasus has been used in India. This is a serious concern. Again, we will look ahead if the Supreme Court comes out with any stern words, if the center is ready to take any actions. We will look at it in the next week when the issue comes up in the Supreme Court. Okay. Next, moving on. See, Karnataka tops Niti Aayog innovative index. Okay, very important. Karnataka is the first, Telangana is second, Haryana is the third, and when it comes to Northeast, Manipur was ranked highest, and in the Union Territories, Chandigarh is the highest. What are the things that are considered when we look at this index? Under this index, it looks at the patents per million of the population. How much of the patents are being filed in each state? Secondly, it looks at publications in scientific journals. It also looks at the percentage of GDP spent on research. On the basis of these three parameters, this index has been devised. This index also publishes a report here which urges India to make few changes so that India can get into the top 25 innovative countries. Okay, it has recommended few of the things. We will look at it one by one. Firstly, it asks to increase the investment in research. Okay, see, the investment in research that the government is doing as well as the private sector is doing is very minimal. It is around 0.6 to 0.7 of the GDP. Whereas when we look at some of the other countries like US, South Korea, China, they are on an average they are spending 2 to 4% of their GDP. Okay, so when there is investment, higher investment in research, there is more motivation for these research workers to work ahead. Secondly, it talks about establish a collaborative platform. Establish a collaborative platform, here we mean that the industries, the private sector as well as the government sector should be involved in this innovation. How? See, the industries right now, when we see the skills of the Indian workers are not up to the level of the industrial needs. Okay, so when these collaboration platforms are established, when the industries come in collaboration with the private sector as well as the government sector, the innovation will improve. Okay, the skills will improve, the curriculum of innovation, what kind of innovation is needed and what kind of innovation should be done, that can be improved here. Thirdly, it talks about promoting private sector. Here again, promoting private sector here again mainly talks about the investment opportunities. If the private sector invests in these research projects, what will happen is it will help them only in their growth, as such can be introduced at such innovations can be introduced at industrial level as well. Fine. Then innovation gap, again this is the same that I told. Innovation gap, here we mean that, see, what the industry needs and what the country is producing, the type of innovation is not proper, it is mismatched. Innovation gap which is persistent in Indian society, that has to be bridged here. Okay, so these are the things that you have to know. Lastly, we look at this Antarctica bill. Okay, in this presentation, this Antarctica bill will be passed. We look at what the significance and what the features of this Antarctica bill is. Firstly, Antarctica is very important region for us because in Antarctica we have two research stations, that is Maitri and Bharati. Why is India interested in this Antarctic bill? Firstly, India has signed this Antarctic Treaty of 1983, which obliges, okay, which has an obligation which says that every government should have a bill or act which protects the environment in Antarctic as well as its marine biodiversity. Fine. So what are the main intentions here? Main intentions are protection of Antarctic environment. Okay, protection of Antarctic environment, as I mentioned earlier. Also here India is co-sponsoring. Okay, India is co-sponsoring European Union's proposal of including Weddell Sea as well as East Antarctic as marine protected area. See, the biodiversity that you find in Weddell Sea as well as East Antarctic is pristine, rare and very rich. Okay, so such protected areas are very important. That is why India is sponsoring this European Union proposal which wants these two regions to be declared as marine protected areas. The bill that is being brought out, the laws and the act that are being passed are applicable both for the Indian citizens as well as the foreigners here. We look at different provisions of the bills here. Firstly, it regulates the visit. Okay, it regulates the visit. To regulate the visit, there is a separate committee that is being formed, that is Antarctic Governance and Environment Protection Committee. Okay, this will overlook the permission that has to be given if someone wants to go and do some research in Antarctic region. Secondly, it talks about protection of mineral resources. See, here it prohibits drilling, dredging and excavation and collection of mineral resources. It prohibits completely for drilling or collection of any type of mineral resources that are present in Antarctica. Thirdly, it talks about protection of native plants. How do you protect how is the protection being done here? See, during the helicopter landing or if some ships are docking here, these ships have to take care, or these helicopters have to take care that they are not destroying any kind of native plants that are available in Antarctic region. Lastly, it talks about provision of introduction of non-native birds, plants and microorganisms. See, when such non-native birds, animals, plants and microorganisms are released, there is competition for resources that are available in Antarctica. Okay, this gives rise to competition and this harms the local environment that is there. This harms the total native environment that is present in Antarctica. These are some of the various provisions of the bill, of the Antarctica bill. Once it is passed, we will look at it again. So that's all. That is all from the today's explanation. Do follow us on the social media handles, that is YouTube, Telegram, Facebook as well as on Instagram. Keep writing your answers. Happy learning.